recorded live in Jacksonville, Florida. This is Trivial Warfare. More than just a pub quiz, Trivial Warfare is your gateway to a worldwide trivia community. Join your hosts, Jonathan.
We just described Ric Flair as Neanderthal Man and Planet of the Apes.
Chris.
Yo, we going down to Sesame Street.
That's your impression of hardcore rap?
Carmela.
That would irritate the hell out. I'm like, I just want my groceries. My ice cream is melting.
Ben.
4 halogens in that list. Oh my God.
You were like, it's not the halogens. I'm like, no, Ben, no.
Those damn halogens got me again.
And the rest of the Trivial Warfare Army for another week of fun and games. Now here's your host, Jonathan Oakes.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Trivial Warfare. We are the podcast that takes the pub quiz out of the pub and brings it home to you. My name is Jonathan, and I'm here today with Nick Groves. Hello, Nick.
Hello, Jonathan. How are you
You know,
today?
Nick, you can't be second if you're the only other host on.
Yeah, I can't believe you would bring me up last again.
Touche. All right, Nick, we're going to have a great time today. We have some awesome guests. First up, Paul Dwyer is with us. Hello, Paul.
Hi. Hi, everybody.
Good morning, sir. Josh Heit is with us. Hello, Josh.
Hey, it's Jonathan. Hey, everyone.
Hello, hello. And Andrew Skinner is with us. Hello, Andrew.
Good morning. Happy day ending in Y.
Happy day ending in Y, indeed. We are going to have a great time, and we're going to start by getting to know you all a little bit better. Paul, tell everybody where you're from, what you do, and something fun about yourself.
From Joplin, Michigan. Originally from Joplin, Missouri. Originally from Western Michigan and upstate New York. I make wood furniture, mostly game tables for a living. And a fun thing, I also refinish guitars.
That is very cool.
Yeah, we need to have long conversations together, you and I.
Oh, that's true. Nick does like dabbling in the wood.
The furniture building area.
Oh.
Rubbing.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, I don't dabble in wood rubbing. I am a certified expert.
He is truly.
I'm one of the top people in my field.
His highly sexualized picture of him laying across one of the tables that he built is outstanding.
That was a spoof picture.
Oh, I'm aware, but still, It's wonderful. Mm-hmm. Paul, how did you get into woodworking? Is this when you say you build game tables? Are you doing this as part of a company thing, or is this your gig?
It's my gig. Mainly I sell them on Etsy. They're like, like old classic game table, cocktail tables.
Fantastic. Is there a link we can say out loud that people can go check out your stuff?
It's a fun arcade on Etsy.
Fun arcade.
Yeah,
very cool.
Like the song.
I love it. Well, welcome to the show. Glad you're here.
Thank you.
All right, Josh, tell everybody where you're from, what you do, and something fun about yourself.
Hey, I'm Josh Heit, coming to you today from Silver Spring, Maryland. I do political affairs for a trade association, and something fun about me, I've sung at Carnegie Hall 3 times.
What are the 3 songs that you sang at Carnegie Hall?
So I actually only can remember 2 of them. One was the Gabriel Fauré's Requiem, and then most recently in 2017 was the Brahms Requiem. So I did it 2 times when I was in high school. I grew up in northern New Jersey, so it was a quick jaunt for us to do a trip to and it's one of these things where they bring in a whole bunch of choirs from all over the country, actually all over the world. I think when I did it with my current group in 2017, there was a group from New Zealand that was joining us. And the joke of it is, how do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice, practice, practice. Well, you can also pay a bunch of money and get there too. So
that's how I got on Trivial Warfare.
There's a couple of companies where they do these things, kind of mass choir things a bunch of times a year. They get, you get an orchestra, you get a professional conductor. You're in New York for a week, you do a few rehearsals, and then boom, you're up on Carnegie Hall performing. It's
Very
a lot of
cool.
fun. Kind of highly recommend it to people who get the opportunity.
Are you a tenor?
I'm a baritone.
You're a baritone.
Yeah.
Oh, I hope did I do a lyrics question? I want to write a new question real quick and have you sing. All right. Well, it's great to have you on today, Josh. We are glad you are here. And then Andrew, tell everybody where you're from, what you do, and something fun about yourself.
Hello, everybody. I'm Andrew Skinner. I'm in Arlington, Virginia, so a little bit south of Nick and Josh. I work for the Library of Congress as an IT program manager. And fun about myself, a little over a year ago, I bought an e-bike, and I've only driven to work twice since buying it.
So describe what an e-bike really is.
It's an electric motor-powered bicycle. They do make e-bikes that are non-pedal, and it's just all motor and engine.
We call those mopeds.
Yeah. Mine's pedal assist, so I can go on bike trails. It takes me about 25 minutes to get into the city. And I made a completely superfluous and self-deprecating video of myself to the Chips theme on YouTube, and I'm putting that in the link for you to watch if you'd like to.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Wow.
I didn't know if you saw that, Nick.
I absolutely did see that, yeah. Yeah, this, Jonathan, this is also another instance of a former employee going head-to-head against me on Trivial Warfare.
I know. I'm aware. Yeah, for sure.
A couple of my classmates from West Point dared me to do it, and I was like, done.
We have a long bike trail, very long, probably, very long. It depends on your definition of long. Very long for me. It's at least 20 miles. And Sarah and I did like 6 miles up and 6 miles back one day during the summer. And I remember getting really irritated at these e-bikes that were passing us going one way and passing us going another way. And these people weren't sweating. They weren't having... No. Meanwhile, I'm on my 200-pound bicycle carrying my 300-pound up these hills and down. And I mean, it was a lot of work for me.
Why do you have a 200-pound bicycle?
Because I have a 350-pound that I got to carry. That's the thing.
It's the steel reinforcing.
You have to have a serious bicycle to hold a serious-sized dude. Otherwise, they break down. You bend your wheels and all kinds of problems. Yeah, it's not 200. It's like 100 maybe.
Yeah,
it's very heavy though.
My e-bike is 80 pounds and holds up to 300.
Yeah, no, I couldn't ride it. That's the game right there.
Yeah.
Anyway, it is fabulous to have you. And Nick, it's also nice that you're here. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
We're going to go ahead and get started right now with Warm It Up, Chris.
It's time to warm it up on Trivial Warfare today. And there's only one person who can warm it up for the TWA. And that's Chris. And sometimes Jonathan.
This comes to us from Matthew Burris. Matthew wrote quite a few questions. I'm using multiple this game. I'm very happy with his questions. Thank you, Matthew. So he recently discovered that a show he had been watching in the U.S. was originally a UK series. So he decided to make a list of TV shows. And what I want you to do with this list is to tell me, did this show start as a UK show? Or did it start as a U.S. show? Where did it start first? We're going to go in order of Nick, Paul, Josh, and Andrew. In that order. All right, so first up, Nick, you get The Golden Girls.
The Golden Girls is U.S. based.
Are you sure?
I'm fairly certain.
You are correct, sir. Golden Girls is U.S. based. Paul, you get the IT crowd.
That's British.
UK based is correct. Yeah. Good job. Josh, see if you can go 3 for 3. You get Love Island.
Love Island, I believe, is UK.
All right, let's see here. Love Island is UK. Good job. All right, Andrew Pressure, make it 4 for 4. You get Family Feud.
That's got to be U.S. based.
It does have to be U.S. based. Good start. Back to Nick. Nick, who do you think you are?
I know who I am. It's one of my superpowers. Who do you think you are? I think is a knockoff. I think that's U.S. based.
No, sir. It is UK based. Our first miss by Mr. Groves. Paul, you get Antique Roadshow.
UK?
It is a UK show. I would have biffed that one. Josh, you're up with Good Times.
Good Times. Let's see. That feels very American, so I'm going to say U.S.
U.S. is correct. Well done, sir. Andrew, Jeopardy.
I'm going to go with UK.
The answer is U.S. It is a U.S. show, tried and true. I don't know that they even have Jeopardy in the U.K. Yet.
I think they just brought it there.
Yeah.
Did they?
Recently. I believe Stephen Fry is hosting it.
Yep.
Oh, that's a
really
good choice.
Yeah, that's a really good choice. I wouldn't mind Stephen Fry hosting over here.
Also, the current, well, you get Hugh Laurie hosting here and Stephen Fry hosting in the UK. It'd be perfect. I think the current iteration of Jeopardy is the third version. Is that accurate? The first two were canceled, but then the third one stayed up.
Third time's a charm.
Yeah.
All right, Nick, you get Undercover Boss.
Undercover Boss is so dumb, it's got to be a US-based show.
It is a UK show.
Oh!
Yeah,
I gave them more credit than they were worth.
Paul, you get Ghosts.
Ghosts.
I've
never heard of the show. I go UK.
It is, in fact, a UK show. Good job.
Is it about spies? Is it?
No, I think it's in its second season. Like a couple moves into a house and it's full of ghosts.
Oh.
And they can see them.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
I think this is like on its second season in the U.S. right now.
Yeah.
Josh, you get Call Me Cat.
Oh, a show I watched and then went ahead watched the original British version, Miranda, because we were interested in the concept. So this is obviously UK.
It is obviously UK. Well done.
Actual knowledge.
Andrew, you get That 70s Show.
That's US.
That is US. Well done. Nick, you've missed two so far, Nick.
Yeah.
Who's the boss?
If that's not US based, it's going to make me angry.
Nick, the correct answer is US. Good job.
Yay!
Paul, you get The Office.
UK.
UK is correct, of course. Josh, you get Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader?
Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? A lot of the game shows definitely started in the UK, but yeah, I'm going to say UK.
It is US.
All right.
US. I don't know if they call, or do they call the grades the same thing we do in the US?
That's true.
Better than a primary school.
Yeah, right? Andrew, Junkyard Wars.
That's US.
That's UK.
Really?
Yes, that is UK. All right, last time around, Nick, you get Queer as Folk.
Queer as Folk. Is that a precursor to like Queer Eye? I'm going to say it's UK.
It is UK. It is not a precursor to Queer Eye either. It's its own thing.
Okay.
Paul, you get Cash Cab.
I'm gonna go UK.
That's a good job out of you. It is UK.
I wasn't sure there.
It was a lot roomier in the UK.
Yeah.
What's the word for cab in the UK, by the way? Is there I assume they have a word for a cab.
I don't think it's any different. I think it's just a taxi.
They have like black.
I was
cabs
just
in
there.
London.
Yeah, cash black cab. All right, Josh, you get So You Think You Can Dance.
I'm going to say UK.
Should have said US. It is a US show. And then, Andrew, we're going to wrap it up with you and Hollywood Squares.
That's US.
It is not a trick. It is US. Good job. There were two that were outside of the outside. I skipped Wipeout, which was US, and The Tonight Show, which was also US.
US, yeah.
Okay.
All right, good job, guys. You feel a little bit warm?
A little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a little bit.
London taxis originally called Hackney carriages, but they're not anymore.
Cash Hackney Carriages. No,
Right,
that's
yeah.
a terrible name for a show.
Doesn't flow quite as well.
I like the idea of Cash Lorry. Let's put the game in trucks and call it a Cash Lorry.
There you go.
Make them have to hang on the back of a flatbed.
Whoa. All right. Well, that's your warming up, Chris, for the episode. Thank you, Matthew. Appreciate that question. We're going to get this thing rolling right now. This is going to be episode number 458. That means we're on the main feed. Very excited about that. Want to let you know, if you want to listen to more Trivial Warfare, we have a lot more episodes for you over on our Patreon site. Just go to trivialwarfarearmy.com, sign up as a sergeant or higher, and you will get access to lots more Trivial Warfare. I'm excited about today's game. I think it is going to be a good one. It's going to be Andrew and Paul versus Josh and Nick. I'm hosting, and it's time to play the game.
Players. Oh, yeah. Y'all know what time it is. This is Mr. Literature himself, cordially inviting you to the game. This is 6 rounds of trivia goodness. 3 questions per round. Every right answer gets you 10 points. In the middle, we'll take a pause for the cause and ask a midpoint question worth up to 20 juicy points. After round 6, you can wager any or all those points you've been building up and take a shot at the final round. It's a series of theme-based questions we call the Gauntlet. It's just that easy, baby. But this game ain't gonna play itself, players. Let's get it on.
Round 1, question 1. The first category is also going to be a Matthew Burris round. I did his warm it up, and now I'm knocking out the first round with Matthew Burris, who wrote some good questions.
All Matthew, all the time.
For the start here, round 1, question 1, your category is literature.
Literature.
Not as comedic or funny, and with far less music than you might expect. On March 26, 1830, what book was published for the first time in Palmyra, New York?
All right, we're locked in.
Josh and Nick are locked in. Andrew and Paul, you guys can talk out loud.
Nothing's immediately coming to mind. American novels from 1830. Not as comedic or funny.
Unless it's something... No, that's not right. Trying to figure out where that is. I know it's upstate.
It's in New York.
Thanks, Jonathan.
Around Palmyra.
It does say just what book. It doesn't say a novel. Wow. I'm blanking. Writers just like Washington
Comedic
Irving
musical. And that's why I went with Wizard of Oz, because I was looking for a comedic musical. So
yeah, I'm pretty sure that's 1900.
Yeah, I'm completely off on that one. I mean, it's something that was turned into something funny and musical later.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. Like into a musical. 1830, an American book.
This is the Book of Mormon.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah. Why don't we use that?
Yeah, let's go with that. Locked in.
All right, Paul and Andrew are locking in with the Book of Mormon. Nick and Josh, what are you guys thinking?
Yeah, Nick and I got to this at about the same time. Funny musical book based on the 1800s. I was actually in Salt Lake City a few years ago, did the tour of the Mormon Temple, and before they were in Utah and before they were in Illinois, they were in upstate New York, so we also said the Book of Mormon.
Your correct answer is the Book of Mormon. Good job. That was
very nice.
Andrew, you kind of went from nothing to... Well, I mean, what if it was like the Book of Mormon? And Paul's like, whoa, hold on. That's a good answer.
I was just starting to go through musicals that are based on old books.
Yeah.
Smart way to get to it. All right. Round 1, question 2. Your category is celebrations. Also from Matthew Burris. Thank you so much, Matthew. Tanabata, also known as the Star Festival, celebrates the meeting of two celestial deities and lovers represented by the stars Vega and Altair. According to the mythology, the Milky Way separates them except on the 7th day of the 7th lunar month of the lunisolar calendar. In what country is this festival celebrated?
Josh. Let me finish the sentence I was typing.
Jonathan, what was the category again?
Category was celebrations.
And the stars' names are actually Vega and Altair. It's not what they called it, correct?
That is correct.
You want to lock in with that, Andrew?
I guess. I don't have anything better.
I think it's my best guess. So
They'd have a lot of celebrations.
Yeah. Let's go with it. We'll lock in.
Nick and Josh, talk out loud.
Yeah, so Josh and I are not doing well. Lunar solar calendar, I know, is China, I believe, follows the lunar solar calendar. But Tanabata it's not Mandarin, it's not a Chinese word. Josh just asked me if India has a lunar solar calendar, and I honestly don't know.
Yeah, we were both kind of talking, maybe Japan, Japanese. I don't know what.
Right.
We're kind of, we got a whole big bag of nothing here. So
yeah, Tanabata has the mouthfeel of a Japanese word, right?
Do you want to just go with that then?
I mean, that's a weird reason to go with it. I'd rather go with China because I know they follow that calendar.
Okay, I'm going to trust you on this one because I think you have more knowledge than I do.
It's not a matter of trust. It's a wild guess on my part.
Okay, then.
But if you want to go with it, we can go with it. I feel like that's something that we know. Like I know that they're on that calendar. Like that's the only thing we know. So it's as good a guess as any is my thought.
Yeah, that's more than I have. So
we'll lock in with China.
Paul and Andrew, what were you guys thinking?
We also went with China. Now that you talked about Japan, though, that Tanabata does sound more like a Japanese word.
It doesn't sound like a Chinese word, right?
China,
No.
but they stole a lot from China, so who knows?
And what was your reason when you guys went China, Andrew, Paul? Why did you go with that?
I think I went first with China or Japan because it sounded Japanese, but China has more celebrations, and they both have the star symbols in their flags. That was my reasoning.
The lunar calendar sounded more like something from China. Yeah.
All right. Your correct answer. It sounds like a Japanese word because it's a Japanese word. Tanabata is celebrated in Japan. But both teams went to the same place, so you can't feel that bad.
Right. I don't have to feel good about it, though. Oh, you know what? Okay. Tanabata, meaning Evening of the 7th, is known as the Star Festival, is a Japanese festival originating from a Chinese festival.
Oh.
That's why. So it's a copy of the Chinese Kixi Festival.
Oh, there you go. That's fun. Had absolutely nothing to do with what you came up with, though.
No.
Something about this one grabbed me, and the something was 7th day of the 7th month is my brother's birthday. This is celebrated on July 7th every year, and that happens to be Bob's birthday. So, Bob, happy Tanabata to you.
Yeah. The Tanabata Festival is stolen whole cloth from the Kixi Festival, which is why it follows the lunar solar calendar. They just changed the names of the deities.
There you go. No harm, no foul. Round 1, question 3. Your category is games and history.
History.
Operating from 1828 until 1987, the oldest railroad in the United States, with its first section opening in 1830, has been immortalized since as a monopoly feature spot as one of the 4 main railroads. What is the name of this railroad? Or more appropriately, what was the name of this railroad?
Just played Monopoly last night.
I mean, we got a 25% chance on this.
Yeah. I would go with it.
That's fine.
Yeah. Let's go with that.
Are you guys locking in?
Yeah, we'll lock in.
Yeah, we'll lock in.
Nick and Josh, talk it out.
So we got Reading, Pennsylvania, B&O, and Short Line. Short Line is a bus route, so that one's out. It's not actually a railroad. So Reading and Pennsylvania are both Pennsylvania-based, I assume. B&O, Baltimore, and Ohio. The B&O was, I think, the more important one.
That's my impression as well.
Right. Did it follow the C&O Canal for a while, the Chesapeake and Ohio Canal? It was originally a waterway, and then they turned it into a railroad.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think B&O, I agree with you. B&O, I think, is the older and the better fit to the question.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So, we'll lock in with B&O. Yeah.
All right, you guys are saying B&O. Andrew and Paul, tell us about your conversation.
I basically took a stab that was similar, but I just said B&O because it seemed like Reading and Pennsylvania were too regional.
Yeah, that was my thinking there. That seems like the major one.
All right, so both teams said B and O. Correct answer, Baltimore and Ohio Railroad. It is B&O. And at the end of the first round, the scores are tied 20-20. Good start by you guys.
Yeah.
We're going to round 2, question 1. Category is geography.
Geography.
Thank you very much. This comes to us from Jay Eccles. Thank you, Jay.
Thanks, Jay.
With a 34-mile-long cobalt belt, what U.S. state has some of the largest deposits in the country of cobalt, a valuable metal in electronics and battery manufacturing? Perhaps it is no coincidence that the largest university in the state plays football on a surface whose color might be reasonably described as cobalt blue.
Yeah, we're locked in.
Yeah, Andrew, that was what I was thinking too. That Boise, they have a real, like a rich blue
turf.
color. Yeah, the Smurf. Yeah, Smurf turf. Yeah, let's go with that. Yeah.
Idaho works for me. Locked in.
All right, you guys said Idaho. Nick and Josh, tell me what you were thinking.
You're asking a college football question with a guy who has a college football photo as his background in this call.
I mean, it's not real college football. It's just Army Navy.
How dare you?
I rescind
football
that
players
statement.
be presidents.
I rescind that statement. I don't actually believe what I just said. I just wanted to turn the screws on Andrew.
Especially after the conversation he had on Facebook yesterday about the Michigan-Ohio State being the greatest rivalry, and he lost his mind.
Oh, boy.
I didn't lose my mind. I posted a meme.
Yeah. But yeah, Blue Field, Boise State. Boise is in Idaho. Idaho makes the most sense. We locked in with Idaho, and Boise State is, I believe, the greatest football game ever played was the Boise State Oklahoma. Was it the Fiesta Bowl?
Fiesta Bowl.
Oh my God, it was so good. Boise State was battling against them. They ran a hook and ladder and then a flea flicker and then did a Statue of Liberty play for a 2-point conversion to win the game at the end. And then the all-star running back proposed to his cheerleader girlfriend on the sidelines after the game. I mean, it was a movie script.
Wow. We know where Nick's heart lies, and that apparently is in Idaho. The correct answer is Idaho. Good job, Nick.
Yeah. Good game.
Actually, good job to everybody. I don't want to say good job to Nick.
Got to cut that out.
Never want people to hear that again. All right, good job out of everybody. Our next question, round 2, question 2. The category is sports.
Sports.
And this one comes to us from Joel Skelly. Thank you, Joel.
Thanks, Joel.
Thank you.
First contested in 1882, the Ashes is a sporting competition held every few years between national teams from England and Australia. What sport are the teams playing?
Go for it. I mean, that's. Do you have
I have meow meows.
I got a hammer around here somewhere.
Meow meow.
Well done, Nick. There, I found mine now.
We're locked in.
All right, Josh and Nick are locked in. Paul and Andrew, you can talk.
I just started throwing out very British sports, and Paul came in with a good answer of rugby, which I like.
Yeah, the Ashes sounds kind of classy for rugby, though.
Rugby is a savage sport played by gentlemen, while soccer is a gentleman's sport played by savages.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Now I'm liking cricket, though. For that far back, 1882.
Yeah.
The Ashes. Yeah, they're, India and Pakistan are the two big cricket, but England and Australia would be the next ones. Let's see, they'd have an old competition like that. I think cricket might be the better answer.
I'm fine with any of the answers.
All right, let's go with cricket then. We'll lock in.
Okay.
All right, you guys said cricket. Nick and Josh, tell me what you guys are thinking.
As I'm trying to hold up my best poker face, I spent a semester in college studying abroad in Australia. The Ashes is a big thing, and it is a cricket competition.
Correct answer is, in fact, cricket. Good job.
Yep.
Way to steer clear of rugby there. That was almost a downfall. Josh, what was it like studying in Australia? That sounds like that must have been a fun time.
It was a fun time. Definitely, we were in Sydney, so it was January to May, so I left an American winter to go into an Australian summer, and it's there were definitely, we had to move a couple of times. There were issues there, but other than that, just kind of learning about especially a lot of ecology stuff. Not that I remember a ton of it, but it was definitely a good place to be for a semester.
That sounds fantastic. All right, both teams got it right. We're moving on to round 2, question 3. Category is going to be family ties, and this question comes to us from Emily Vera. Thank you, Emily.
Thanks, Emily.
Thanks, Emily.
Ada Lovelace is recognized as the first computer programmer. She was the daughter of what writer with the first name George?
That's it.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
Want to lock in?
Sure.
We're locked in.
All right, Paul and Andrew have locked in. Nick and Josh, you guys can finish talking.
The first thing I said was Lord Byron, ? I'm pretty sure there's some connection between Lord Byron and Ada Lovelace. It would make sense if it was this one. It probably, would be odd if there were multiple writers, and I'm just thinking of the one, but
named George.
Nick, yeah,
with a connection.
Nick, if you're okay with it.
Yeah, totally fine by me.
All right, we're gonna lock in with Lord Byron.
Paul and Andrew, what were you guys thinking?
This was all Paul.
Yeah, definitely Lord Byron's daughter. Knew that for fact.
Both teams are saying Lord Byron. Full name, George Gordon Byron. Lord Byron is the correct answer.
Good job.
Both teams get the points, and you guys are doing very well after the second round. The score is tied 50-50.
You don't hear the name Gordon a lot anymore. I think that's a
you don't
name
hear the name
that's fallen
George
out
a lot
of favor.
anymore.
That's
true
usually
too.
Reserved for a commissioner.
Yeah.
Ha ha. Ha 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 ha. Ha. Oh boy, it's one of those days.
Yeah.
You brought Nick and I both here at the same time.
It's on you. This is absolutely
fair.
on you.
That's fair. I was panicking. If I'd only waited a couple more minutes, Paul would have jumped in. Yeah, but no, too slow on the draw there.
I mean, you can swap him out for me now. That's fine. I could leave.
I'm sure he'd like that.
He probably would.
All right, we're going into round 3. Question 1. Your category is science.
Science.
And this comes to us from Dieter Handbicky. Thank you, Dieter.
Thanks,
Peter.
Dieter.
A hydrogen atom has 1 proton and no neutrons.
True.
An isotope of hydrogen with 1 proton and 1 neutron is called deuterium. That is also true.
That's also true, yeah.
What is the name for a light atom with 1 proton and 2 neutrons? A light atom with 1 proton and 2 neutrons. I do want to adjust the wording just a little bit to make it very clear that all 3 of these are hydrogen isotopes, except for the first hydrogen atom. So it's hydrogen atom, and both of the next 2 are isotopes of hydrogen.
Fair. Very fair.
All right, we're locked in.
Josh and Nick have locked in. Paul and Andrew, you got a couple minutes left. You can talk out loud.
Yeah, my first thought was photon there because it said light, but yeah, it probably means weight, right?
Yeah.
What is its name for the light atom with 1 proton, 2 neutron? Yeah, something with might work, but
I'm fine with a Triton. I like the superhero answers.
Or tritium says it's deuterium.
Sure.
Let's go with tritium.
Sure.
Yeah, locked in.
Tritium.
All right, you're saying tritium. Nick and Josh, what were you guys thinking?
Almost the exact same conversation, I think. We went from new to
Very much
do,
not.
which is... No? Okay.
No.
Well, what they said out loud then was very similar.
They didn't reference the Enterprise on theirs.
That's fair. New to do is 1 to 2. So 1 proton, no neutrons is 1. 1 proton, 1 neutron is 2. This is 3. So we immediately went to try. But then it was, is it Triton? Is it tritium? Is it tritium? And then I thought that one of those sounded a lot like what fuels the Enterprise, but I can't remember now for the life of me. This is one of those things that if you had asked me at any other time other than this exact moment, I would have told you the answer.
It's a dilithium crystal, Nick.
Dilithium, thank you. Dilithium. It's not dilithium. So that absolutely gives us the answer we were looking for.
You're already locked in.
We locked in with tritium as what we thought was the best possible suffix.
So both teams are saying tritium, which I think is tritium, I think is the pronunciation. I might be wrong about that, but I'm not wrong about that being the correct answer.
All right.
Both teams found their way to tritium, which is the hydrogen isotope we were looking for.
Amazing.
That was something right there. I did not. It didn't feel like either team was really going to get it halfway through that think out.
Got there. Doesn't matter how you get there as long as you get there.
For sure. All right, round 3, question 2. Category is televisiones.
Television.
Televisiones.
This comes to us from David Abalofia. Thank you, David.
Thanks,
Hey,
David.
David.
Thanks, David.
Short and sweet here. What beloved sitcom had all 4 of its last surviving primary cast members die in the year 2021? And I mean in real life. This isn't dying on the show.
That's fair.
About 30 seconds left.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're locked in.
All right, Nick and Josh have locked in.
From the way it's phrased, it can't be the Golden Girls because B. Arthur died years ago.
Well, you guys have just a tiny bit of time to talk it out here.
Yeah, let's go with that. Yeah.
I'm good with that.
Yeah, let's go with that.
What are you going with?
The Mary Tyler Moore Show.
All right, Andrew and Paul have just gone with the Mary Tyler Moore Show. Nick and Josh, you guys took a long time to think. Tell me about it.
We immediately started with Betty White as well, and immediately said, no, B. Arthur died like 15 years ago, so it's definitely not all 4 of the primary ones. And then Josh had a brilliant idea of maybe a larger cast where 4 of the remaining primary characters died in 2021, and he came up with Gilligan's Island. And we said, okay, maybe I think I kind of remember either Ginger or Mary Ann died recently. There was a whole big thing about that. Maybe it was both of them within a couple months of each other. And then we thought Bob Denver, but no, Bob Denver died, 20 years ago. But because the cast was so big, maybe there were 2 more. And then I said, no, Alan Hale, I think, died in recently, who was the skipper. And then we started talking about other potential options before we locked in. And then I realized I wasn't thinking Alan Hale. I was thinking Ted Knight, because Alan Hale died a long, long time ago. Ted Knight was the person that I had in my head, and because we were talking Gilligan's Island, I got it backwards. But Ted Knight, Betty White, and then I came up with Cloris Leachman also died recently. We also locked in with Mary Tyler Moore.
Huh. Both teams went Mary Tyler Moore at the last second, literally 4+ minutes of conversation before anybody said that. But Nick, Ted Knight died in 1986, bro.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
What? Then who the hell am I thinking of?
I think actually
so
you were right.
The Professor, Ginger, Mary Ann, they're not the right answer either.
Yeah.
You guys, both of you guys had a lot of conversation about the Golden Girls, and it's because Betty White died at the end of 2021 in like December. But you guys didn't come to the right answer until the very end. It is the Mary Tyler Moore Show.
Right.
Betty White is in the cast of the Mary Tyler Moore Show.
Was Cloris Leachman one of the ones?
Cloris Leachman, Gavin MacLeod, Ed Asner, and Betty White all passed away in 2021.
Wow.
That was crazy. You guys, the last two questions, both at the very end, you're like, poof, here's the right answer. That was cool. So cool.
Once Andrew said it, I was like, that has to be it, because I love the Mary Tyler Moore Show, and I was completely blanking on it.
Yeah, and I knew it had to be a Betty White related question.
Yeah,
right. Well, that was we all went to Betty White immediately, and then we went away from it because the obvious answer didn't fit, and then
you all went to Golden Girls immediately. Yep. So it as you guys were talking, I did look up. So Rue McClanahan died in 2010. B. Arthur died in 2009. Estelle Getty died in 2008. And Betty White in 2021. And it made me really sad because I did not really comprehend that all 4 of the Golden Girls had passed away. Yep. And now I got to be honest, I'm a little bit sad.
Yeah.
It's sad. They were wonderful.
The thing that makes me sad is realizing the ages of people from all of these sitcoms that were adored, and how I am so much older than most of them are. Yeah. Right? It's you know, all of Alice from the Brady Bunch was supposed to be like 42 years old, and like like everybody on all in the family were in their 30s, and like it's awful because I'm older than all of them now, and I would like to think that I look slightly better than they did at that age.
You know, Nick, Archie Bunker was 48 on the show.
Right. That's my point.
Shut your mouth.
Yeah.
You shut your mouth right now.
That's my point, is how awful that is, that I'm sitting here and I'm like, oh my God, there's so many of those too.
Yeah, I think Tom Cruise is older now than Wilford Brimley was in Cocoon.
Right, there's so many. Ryan Reynolds is older than Wilford Brimley was in Cocoon. Like, there are so many of those that are just painful.
One other thing that really struck me as I was looking up the Golden Girls' years of death, Estelle Getty, when she was younger, spitting image of Madonna before all the plastic surgery. Estelle Getty and Madonna are lookalikes.
Huh.
It's something to see.
Yeah. They had the one that bothers me the most is that in the Sex and the City movie, all 4 of the main characters from the Sex and the City movie are older than all 4 of the Golden Girls in the first season of the Golden Girls.
Wow.
All right.
Andrew looks horrified.
Am I right about Estelle Getty?
I haven't looked that up yet.
Oh, I thought you looked that up.
No. I was just marveling at the Sex and the City comment.
Oh, boy. All right, well, we're going on to round 3, question 3. Your category is animals. Animals, and this comes to us from Sarah Clark.
Thanks, Sarah.
And I don't know why I have that's a wrong category, y'all. I think what happened here is that I had another question written and then replaced it and did not change the category. So it is not, in fact, animals.
Not animals.
No, your category is going to be exports and imports.
All right. That's a
totally
different category
unrelated
altogether.
to animals. I'm changing that right now. Before I do that, let me ask you the question. Which country is the greatest exporter of flowers in the world, with roughly 5 times as much income from flowers as the next highest country? And this is as of 2021.
So the flowers was their second highest?
No, I did not give any information about their internal exports. I'm saying that out of every country in the world, they export the most, 5 times more than any other country. And also to be clear, it is in terms of the financials, not the number of flowers, which I'm sure is the same answer either way, but the metric is in amount of income. Flowers, FLOWERS.
I just looked at your paste. You want to go with that?
Yeah, let's lock in with that.
All right, Josh. Why China?
Because it's the biggest, and every time you look at one of these lists of, who's the greatest exporter of X, China is usually a pretty good guess. I don't have much logic behind that. I mean, yeah, I also was thinking what you were thinking with the Netherlands and tulips. I just don't know how many, it's not the tulip boom of whenever that was these days.
Fair, but so here's okay. Try to follow along with my ridiculous logic here. As somebody who writes trivia questions, right, for a living, as somebody who has made this the main focus of my life for some godforsaken reason.
Are you pulling rank?
No. I'm not pulling rank.
I've written 1,000 billion questions.
No. Because I'm not coming to this from a trivia angle. I'm coming to this from a writing angle. Right, so it doesn't have any actual value or basis in knowledge.
So you're saying writers don't have value or knowledge?
I'm saying that my writing has no value or knowledge.
I can concur.
Yeah, here's my philosophy, Josh. The idea of writing a question about what country exports blank is a fine idea, right? But why flowers? Why would you pick flowers as what country is the biggest exporter of blank? You could pick anything. You could pick coffee. You could pick, cars. You could pick. So why flowers? The only reason why flowers is because Netherlands, right? You were reading about the tulip bulb market bubble explosion of whatever the hell year that was. You were reading about that and you said, oh, I wonder who's the current largest exporter of flowers, and then it's still the Netherlands, and you go, oh my God, that's an amazing trivia question. Because there's a way in. If there's no way in, then it doesn't make for a good trivia question. Jonathan's not going to pick it out of the pile of questions that were submitted. This was submitted by somebody, yeah?
This was come up with yesterday on my couch with Sarah Clark, my girlfriend.
Okay, same logic applies then, regardless of whether it was submitted, except Jonathan didn't pick it out of whatever. He picked it out of his brain. But that's my philosophy, is that there has to be an in somewhere, right? And Jonathan just wasn't looking through Wikipedia for countries that are the largest exporters of fill in random word. He had to come to this somehow.
Yeah, no, I'm going to defer to your logic on this one. I'm just trying to think if there's any other country flower sort of
tie-ins
that we're missing besides tulips, because there are a lot of flowers, but again, we're kind of outside of my area of expertise.
Yeah, I mean, China's always good. The U.S. is always good for that trick answer, who's the biggest exporter of whatever. It's almost always either us or China. So why ask a question where the answer is the U.S. or China?
I'm willing to go with Netherlands. I've been convinced.
Okay, good. I'm glad I could argue you into my ridiculous point of view. And we're going to lock in with tulips before Josh changes his mind.
Or with the Netherlands.
Oh, with the Netherlands. Yeah, we're going to lock in with the Netherlands.
Too late. I heard tulips. Weird country, but okay. All right, you're saying the Netherlands.
Yeah.
Andrew and Paul, walk through your conversation.
Yeah, I was first thinking there, the U.S. or China. We have the big, agricultural industries. But then we both messaged at the exact same time. Netherlands, Holland, and that's the same thing.
I would like to note that I first thought Ukraine or Russia because I had the wrong flower in mind.
Oh, flower, right. The U. Right.
So both teams have locked in with the Netherlands. Nick did a pretty good job describing the logic here. It is the Netherlands.
Yeah.
Literally,
what History Channel show were you watching, or what article were you reading?
We were drinking coffee, sitting on the couch. We were both working. I was writing questions, and she was working on some grading stuff. And I asked her a couple of things, and then she said, "Oh, I heard something interesting the other day. Do you know what the highest exporting country of flowers is?" If I had to guess, I'd guess the Netherlands. She's like, "That's right. How did you know that?" I'm like, "I didn't know, but I figured it might be." And it was like, I like that. That's a fun one. If you can get there, go for it.
Right. Why flowers? Why not literally anything else?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. That was a really, really good job. You guys have really gotten on a roll over the last couple of rounds here. The score going into the midpoint is 80-80. Really, really good job.
Really good scores.
Our midpoint is coming to us from Emily Hill. Thank you, Emily.
Thanks, Emily.
Thank you, Emily.
And the basics for this midpoint are simple. There are 30 companies that comprise the Dow Jones Industrial Average. 6 of them have 2-letter stock symbols. I'm going to give you 5 of the stock symbols, and for 4 points each, I want you to name the company with this 2-letter stock symbol. Your stock symbols are BA, KO, GS, HD, and PG. These are all in the Dow Jones Industrial Average. For the folks listening at home, that's BA, KO, GS, HD, and PG.
We're locked in.
Then Nick and Josh, you guys can finish out loud.
We pretty quickly got to 4 of them. BA we knew was Boeing. GS we assumed Goldman Sachs. PG we assumed Procter & Gamble. HD, I thought Home Depot. The only question we had was whether or not that was a big enough company to be on the Dow, and I'm 99.9% sure that it is. It is a multi-billion-dollar company. So the only thing left is KO. So we thought maybe Kellogg's, but that didn't seem like a big enough company to either of us unless they own another brand that's bigger than Kellogg's. So then we just started listing companies that are on the Dow, and we got, Amex and Apple and Microsoft and Exxon and Alphabet and Walmart and Pfizer, none of which seemed like a K.
Do you want to just go with Kellogg for the?
We can. I don't think it's right, but I also don't think we're going to find a better answer.
Okay.
BA is Boeing, KO would be Kellogg's, GS is Goldman Sachs, HD Home Depot, and PG would be Procter & Gamble.
Paul and Andrew, talk me through your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, we were just basically throwing out answers back and forth a little bit. But yeah, we came up with Bank of America, Kellogg's, Goldman Sachs, Home Depot, and Procter & Gamble. Though we did think maybe it was Pacific Gas and Electric, but we went with Procter & Gamble instead.
All right. So both of you said Goldman Sachs, Home Depot, and Procter & Gamble for the last 3. Those are all correct.
Yeah.
Both of you said Kellogg for KO. KO is Coca-Cola.
Oh.
Interesting.
Right.
And there was a difference in the first answer. It's either Bank of America or Boeing. Correct answer is Boeing.
Yeah,
Wow.
Bank of America is BAC. It's the Bank of America Corporation.
Oh, so I
That
guess it's
one-
Boeing Aviation.
That one I know because I own a lot.
Well, aren't we fancy
Yes, we are.
owning things?
At the end of the midpoint, we do have separation for the first time in the game. Josh and Nick got 4 right. They have 96. Andrew and Paul got 3 right. They have 92. It is 96-92. Nick and Josh have a slight lead.
A dominant, insurmountable lead. We might as well just end here.
We're not going to end here, but we are going to take a break. Hey, everybody, this is Jonathan. And before we get on with the second half, I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. I know this show's coming out the day before Christmas, otherwise known as Christmas Eve. And anyway, Merry Christmas, everybody. I hope that your holiday is as wonderful as you are. And it may be too late to get a calendar before Christmas, but it's not too late to get a calendar before the majority of next year. So grab yourself an everyday Q&A trivia calendar right now at triviacalendar.com. Supplies are running out. We have less than 100 calendars left. I would be surprised if it's not less than 50 by the time that this airs. Grab them now. They are going to go. And I hope you get one. triviacalendar.com. Merry Christmas, everybody. All right, let's get on with the second half of today's game. Round 4, question 4. Your category is Hooray Beer.
Hooray, beer.
Yay, I'm sober.
Question
And this comes to us from Vinny Iyer. Thank you, Vinny. When you look at a can or bottle of beer, the abbreviation ABV stands for alcohol by volume. But sometimes at craft breweries, you will see a beer measurement called IBU. What does IBU stand for?
I've got fire. I've got all the meow meows, toot toots, toot.
Go with that.
Andrew and Paul, you guys are locking in?
Yeah.
Coolio.
I was going to come out with the one piece of information I knew, but the instant Jonathan got halfway through the question, the 3 dots showed up on there, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to wait for Josh to say something because he obviously has meow meows on this. So, Josh, what did you throw out?
It's not quite meow meows, and my autocorrect was slowing me down a little bit. The B does not stand for butternut. What I have is International Bitterness Unit. The I is the only one I'm not 100% certain of, but I'm pretty sure it's Bitterness Unit.
Well, that sounds dumb and made up, so it has to be right. Yeah, no, I knew that IBU had something to do with bitterness, but I couldn't come up with the acronym. So I'm more than happy to go with International Bitterness Unit.
Yeah, well, we'll lock in with International Bitterness Unit.
All right, Paul and Andrew.
I used to be a big beer drinker and loved the IPAs, and so I knew this was the International Bitterness Unit.
Your correct answer is International Bitterness Units. Good job.
Hooray.
Yeah, so as the name might imply, that is the amount of bittering compounds in a beer. Isomerized and oxidized alpha acids and polyphenols in bittering chemicals. Well, all that stuff. The more it has, such as an IPA versus a lager or pilsner, the greater the bitterness in the taste of the beer.
And the worse the beer.
So they are intentionally making it taste bad.
Yeah, it's bad.
International Badness Unit. I don't understand it, but glory to y'all who like it.
I think I've told this story on the podcast before, but if I haven't, when I started District Trivia, one of the things that I started doing was looking for sponsors. And the first sponsor that came out of the woodwork and said, yeah, well, no, we'll sponsor your trivia nights was Sierra Nevada. And after drinking Sierra Nevada, I decided to pass.
I have no such compunction. Sierra Nevada, if you would like to advertise, I'm here for it.
Actually, they have a great non-alcoholic soda water thing that's flavored like hops called Hop Splash. I love it.
Oh, God.
That sounds horrifying.
Oh, it's so bad.
Well, both teams got it right, so we're going on to round 4, question 2. Category is sports.
Sports.
This comes to us from Tyler Ruthven. Thank you, Tyler.
Tyler.
What university, the first school for the deaf in the U.S., was also the first to have its football team use a huddle due to worries about other teams trying to steal their signs?
We're locked in.
Good luck.
Yeah, and I've got the toots on this too.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was typing as well.
Three of us.
Yeah.
Toot.
All right, we got some toots. It sounds like y'all want a 3, 2.
Yeah, we can
Yeah.
do one.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, I'll count it down. 3, 2, 1.
Gallaudet.
Gallaudet is a correct answer. Well played, well played. How did you guys know that?
Well, it's here.
Yeah.
That's first and foremost.
DC.
It's like 5 miles from where all 3 of us live. Secondarily,
I don't know why I knew it.
I wrote exactly this question for the last episode I hosted, and then I eliminated it because I thought it was too difficult for a bunch of people who didn't live in the area, and there was no secondary in. So it was almost word for word the same question, and I literally a week ago wrote it.
I learned about it actually in high school.
Yeah.
I went to a football camp at Cal Berkeley over one summer, and there were deaf players there that told us about it. So it was pretty cool.
I think it's the coolest thing because you have deaf students.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if the whole school is deaf. I don't know if the football team was, but assuming they were, you're using hand signals clearly because that's how you're speaking. And so sign stealing becomes a bigger deal.
Right. Just remember Brian Murphy, number 86 on the replacements. The tight end, quarterbacked by, I can't remember his name. How do I remember Brian Murphy?
Joe Falco.
Shane Falco.
Shane Falco. Joe Flacco's a real person.
Yeah, that's who he is. He was a graduate of Gallaudet as well.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Oh, very good. Very good. All right. You guys are still kicking butt and taking names. Next question. Category is music.
Music.
This comes to us from KT Lindemann. Thank you, KT.
Thanks, Katie.
Thanks, Katie.
Of the 100 most streamed songs on Spotify, only 2 were released before the year 2000. One was released in the 70s and the other was released in the 90s, both by British groups. Name either of these songs for 10 points.
Lock in with that?
I'm good with that.
We're locked in.
100 most streamed songs on Spotify. Only 2 were released before the year 2000. One was released in the 70s, and the other's released in the 90s.
Yeah, but before it said both by British groups, I was going to get into the current season and say All I Want for Christmas Is You, but that's obviously wrong.
Nobody actually wants to hear that song. It's just been forced upon us at this point.
Yeah.
Charts say different things. I mean, the 90s British, I think Oasis, I think Wonderwall.
That was the first thing that came to mind, and 70s British, I think Queen, which means Bohemian Rhapsody.
Oh, that's I would be more certain of Bohemian Rhapsody than I would be of Wonderwall. I'm just trying to think if I'm thinking.
I know that there are Queen songs in the top 100, or at least one Queen song.
Yeah.
I know Queen's in the top 100.
Yeah.
Is there any Rolling Stones stuff that could be on there? Is there any Beatles stuff that could be on there?
Well, I mean, I guess Beatles could technically be the 70s. I mean, I feel, we only need one of them, so I feel much better about Bohemian Rhapsody, and then then the 90s might be right. But again, if we only need one and we feel good about Bohemian Rhapsody, I think we can just stop there.
Okay, I'm like 99% sure that Queen is on the list, and if Queen is on the list, then it's got to be Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah. Although
I love Wonderwall as an answer, as a 90s answer.
There's no
It's
bonus
perfect.
on this, right, Jonathan?
No bonus because I can't figure out how to get bonuses to work on the score sheet.
Oh my God! Just click the little box under the total. There's a little box under the total. All you do is click it, and it gives you 2 points.
Oh, is that what that box is for?
Oh my God!
Honest to God, I looked at that box earlier and I was like, what a dumb place to put a box.
No, and honestly, the mentality behind it was, well, what if we have more than one bonus point, like in a round? And what Bing and Will and I decided was, if a writer's putting more than one bonus in a round, that's dumb, and they're a bad writer, and we should not reward them with a functional score sheet.
Fair enough.
So now that you know how to do it, do we get a bonus?
No.
Now, beep. I think we go with Queen.
We'll lock in with Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah.
All right, you've locked in with Bohemian Rhapsody with confidence that would be the Queen song. Paul and Andrew, what were you thinking?
Yeah, I was thinking Bohemian Rhapsody seemed like it had to be. I think I've actually heard this before. The 90s one, I would not have a real guess at. Wannabe by the Spice Girls or something?
That's a good guess.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. But we locked in with Bohemian.
Yeah, both teams locked in with Bohemian Rhapsody. That's a good choice. Bohemian Rhapsody is correct for the song from the 70s.
Yeah.
And the song from the 90s was Wonderwall by Oasis.
That's Wonderwall.
Yeah, no, Spice Girls and Rolling Stones are definitely they're the folks that'll screw you over there. Or Elton John, honestly.
Elton John was that was
Could have
tops of
been
my
the
list.
70s. In fact, the fact that he's not in the top 100 most, we need everybody to go start streaming Elton John. He deserves to be up there. That's some good stuff.
I was going to say, it also 90s Elton John with the re-release of Candle in the Wind.
Candle in the Wind.
That
people listen
that
to
was the
anymore.
first thing that popped into my head. But you said British groups, and Elton John is not a British group.
Yeah, and also it's
right.
Diamond certified, but that's because everybody literally bought the song in 1997 back when you had to do that.
Right.
At the end of the fourth round, guys, 126 to 122. I'm loving it. I'm like eating McDonald's over here with this game.
I want McDonald's.
Go for it. Okay, round 5, question 1. Your category is location.
Geography.
Kind of, sort of, yeah. This comes to us from Jay Eccles. Again, there's 2 questions for Jay in this one. Thank you, Jay.
Thanks, Jay.
Thanks, Jay.
With water sourced from a sand aquifer the size of Lake Ontario, situated 350 to 1,000 feet below its streets, and known as Grind City to some, what city is known as having some of the purest tap water in the United States? I want it for both teams because you're both thinking in the same way. I would encourage you to read the question carefully.
Oh.
Huh.
All right, we're locked in.
Nick and Josh have locked in. Over to Paul and Andrew.
So
Right.
Grind City makes me think of like grist mills, like if things are grinding all the time.
Yeah.
So I think things on a river. That took me. The only thing I could think of was big wheel keep on turning. Cities on there are like, what are the cities? Met a lot of good friends in Memphis. Pumped a lot of chain in New Orleans. It's not going to be New Orleans because
Yeah, beneath its streets, known as Grind Cities. Grind City.
Yeah,
The name is just not familiar.
To me.
Like Minneapolis, maybe? I don't know. Just never heard the name Grind City.
No,
the
it sounds like it'd be more of a gritty city, though, to have that kind of name.
Yeah.
I don't think
if it didn't say that, I would have said Seattle. For some reason, I thought the water there.
That's coffee.
Oh, that's true.
I'm just hooked on Memphis and New Orleans, so I would go with Memphis out of those two just because of the song, but I don't have anything else.
All right, yeah, let's go with that. Lock in with Memphis.
All right, Memphis, Tennessee.
So, Nick and Josh, tell us what you were thinking.
Well, it was a similar. I think we all, if Joel leaves in our recognition moment from the question where Jonathan told us to reread the question, one of the things that I came up with was coffee. You grind coffee, Grind City, Seattle, but Seattle is so far from Lake Ontario that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And then we realized the question said the size of Lake Ontario, not, actually from Lake Ontario. So that made more sense. We then spent the rest of our time trying to come up with something that made more sense than grinding coffee in Seattle. And the only other thing that we could think of was, like a skateboarding or a snowboarding reference. So maybe like Provo, Utah, where it's known for snowboarding and X Games and things like that. And maybe that's the Utah Sand Aquifer makes sense. But inevitably, we just fell into Seattle and sort of stayed there.
So we have Seattle for one team. We have Memphis for another team. This was a super fun, for me, situation because the question that I got, you guys really both teams honed in on Grind City as the main thing they were working with. And that was the smallest clue that I added to a question that didn't have it before to try and make it more accessible. The question that it stood before that was just about the freshest water with the aquifer. And I did get a correct answer, but not for a correct reason. The answer is Memphis.
Seriously?
Oh, really?
Yes, Memphis is correct. Memphis has really adopted their NBA basketball team, the Grizzlies, whose motto is grit and grind. And so for sports fans, the Memphis Grizzlies have made Memphis into Grind City. So that is where that comes from. It is, and that's why I said to some, it's not a huge, everybody calls it Grind City. It is specifically Grind City to some. Yeah, and Memphis is known for having some of the freshest, purest fresh water in the country.
Cool.
Wow, great get, Andrew. Well,
yeah.
I would not have never got
thank
there.
Tina Turner.
Yeah, it's you know what? A way in is a way in. It doesn't matter how you get there.
I agree. I was tickled pink when you were like, "Well, I Memphis or New Orleans." I'm like, "Wow, is he about to get this right?"
Just
holy moly!
Stab.
Yeah, very good, very good. That's a lead change. I love it. It's now 132 to 126 going into the second question in round 5. Andrew and Paul have taken a 6-point lead.
Boo.
Hooray.
Here we go. Round 5, question 2. Sorry, I said round 6 earlier. Round 5, question 2. Category is business.
Business.
And this comes to us from Jackie LaFave. Thank you, Jackie.
Thanks,
Jackie.
What work-based time management method was created by Italian Francesco Cirillo? It took its name from the shape of the cooking timer that resembles a fruit and involves working for 25 minutes on one focused item, taking a break, then working another 25 minutes in blocks of 4 working periods. I will read it again for the audience. I will also paste it for you.
Please.
The question was, what work-based time management method was created by Italian Francesco Cirillo? It took its name from the shape of a cooking timer that resembled a fruit. It involved working for 25 minutes on one focused item, taking a break, then working another 25 minutes, and doing this in blocks of 4 working periods.
I think I've heard of that, Andrew, so...
And then I'm good with that.
Yeah, let's lock in with that.
Beep. All right. Now we got to talk out loud.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know any work-based time management systems. I wish I did, because what I currently use isn't helpful.
I've probably heard of a couple, but not ones that take their name from the shape of a cooking timer that resembles a fruit.
Okay. So you said which part of the question should we focus on? and that's the only thing that I have any sort of thunder whatsoever. Is that there used to be in like the 70s and 80s, and it might have even been before that it was a kitchen timer. It went on the counter next to the stove, and you twisted the apple at its meridian in order to set the timer, and then it buzzed like a bell.
Yeah, I know. I was going to say, I believe we had one of those growing up, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
Exactly. You can picture it. I can picture it. We both had them growing up. Neither one of us has them now, I'm sure. Although I'm probably going to go online and order one now because I want one.
But like, does 4 working periods mean anything?
Well, I just think it's 4 working periods, meaning like work for 15 minutes and take a break for whatever, and that's your hour or something like that.
I mean, I guess does
25 minutes to be specific.
I guess does
That's
that
question.
mean then it's like we're talking about like a square or a rectangle, and I can't make a fruit fit like that. And then
what do you mean by a square or a rectangle?
If it's 4 maybe I'm overthinking this, but it's 4 working periods. It's a timer, then you turn it, then the timer. It's 4 sides essentially for the 4 periods. Maybe I am wildly overthinking.
I think you're overthinking this. I think it's simply like, so the method, whatever the method is you work for 25 minutes, then you take a break for 5 minutes, then you work for 25 minutes, then you take a break for 5 minutes in 4 periods.
I'm just trying to find anything in this question.
All right, so the name is based on the shape of the cooking timer,
right?
That resembled a fruit. So the name is based on a cooking timer, on an apple cooking timer. So the name is based on an apple. What is Italian for apple?
Nope, don't have that.
Okay, then I've got Spanish for apple is manzana.
Mm-hmm.
You got 40 seconds left.
I don't know Italian. I can't. The only thing I got.
Neither do I. At least not fruits.
Do we want to say it's some sort of cognate, since they're both Latin-based languages, and it's like the Manzana method?
Yeah,
Manzana method.
Sounds great.
All right, we'll lock in with Manzana method.
All right, Paul and Andrew, give us your logic.
I have a vague memory of this, and I can picture a tomato shaped like an egg timer, but shaped like a tomato.
Was it a tomato?
And he's Italian, so. A lot of tomatoes in Italian cuisine, so that was my best guess. It had an inkling there that might be right.
I had nothing else besides a meme that I created 5-6 years ago.
All right, so you guys locked in with?
Tomato.
So this was really interesting because there's multiple parts here, and neither team got this correct. This is the first points for Slytherin.
Yeah.
I think if Nick and Paul had been on the same team, that they might have gotten it because the timer, it's a great meme. The timer is a tomato, and it's created by an Italian who named it the Italian word for tomato. It is the Pomodoro method.
Yeah,
the Pomodoro method is the method we're looking for. You needed to figure out A, the timer, B, that it was named by an Italian.
So we lost those points in translation.
Well, yeah, tomato in Spanish is tomate, so that wouldn't have helped.
No, but you've eaten Italian food. There is Pomodoro sauce.
Sure.
Yep, that is the first stumper in today. No, second stumper in today's game. There we go. All right. Well, we're going to go on. I don't think this one's going to be a stumper, but we'll see. Round 5, question 3. Category is logos. And thank you to Jesse Hitch for this question.
Thanks, Jesse.
Thanks, Jesse.
The car manufacturer Subaru has an emblem with a blue background and 4 pointed stars in the foreground. How many 4 pointed stars are on the emblem?
Yeah, you want to go with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll talk in.
All right. Paul and Andrew have locked in. Nick and Josh, you guys can talk.
All right, Josh, describe to me what you're seeing in your mind.
I mean, I think I'm seeing something similar to you. It's although I don't see as much the big and the little one, but it's a ray of stars. I think the one on the right side is bigger, but I think it's one, and then the problem is now I'm kind of being influenced, and I'm trying to get it clear in my head.
Right, I shouldn't have said anything.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I originally had 4, but now I'm less sure that it's
so. All right. So if it's 4, in my head, there's one big one on the upper left, and then there's like a cluster on the lower right. If you see 4, what's the organization of the 4? Like it's not 1, 2, 3, 4 in a grid.
Yeah. No, it's kind of one above and then two below.
That would be 3.
and then a big one kind of separate. It's kind of like a tail almost.
One above and 2. So it's a big one and then a triangle of stars?
Kind of. I don't think it's that regimented.
So it's just 3 randomly placed. I feel like it's more cluttered. I want to say there's 4 on the bottom and 1 on the top is 5 total, right? There's 4 in a sort of like almost like a diamond pattern, but an offset diamond pattern as the little ones on the bottom right, and then there's the one big one on the upper left.
I'm literally trying to do this in my mind, and it's not there.
The shapes aren't shaping right?
Yeah.
You got about a minute left. You can, I mean, use a piece of paper and draw it if you want to for yourself. That might help you.
Can I use Google?
No, you can't use your computer.
I'm just checking. I've got Figma open in front of me. Can I use Figma?
No. You need to Figma out an answer.
The question is how many stars?
Yeah.
So are we saying that 4 is enough to fill the field in our minds? Are we thinking it's 5? Are we thinking it's 27?
I mean, I think we're between 4 and 5. So
can we say 4.5 and round up?
Yeah, my first instinct was 4, but now I'm really not sure. You seem much more sure than I am.
I would be more comfortable with 10 than I would be with 4. I don't think 4 is enough.
Okay,
I think it's more full than that.
Do you want to still say 5? I don't think it's more than that.
Okay, I mean no, I'm fine with 5. Like 1
seconds.
big one and 4 little ones seems
then
more reasonable.
I guess we're locking in with 5.
Okay.
All right, you're saying 5. Andrew and Paul, tell us what you were talking about.
It's all Andrew.
Yeah. I mean, I look at this every day. Every time I get in the car, I look at this symbol.
That's not fair.
Either my car or my wife's.
Oh, God.
So,
He owns 2.
technically, I own 1.
But he might have multiplied the answer by 2. You never know.
Oh, right. You don't know.
And I know there's at least one big one on the right and then a cluster on the bottom left. And I went with 5, which meant 6 total.
Is the big one on the upper right?
As you look at it. So if it's on its left, you're right.
Oh, okay.
So one team said 6. One team said 5. The correct answer, 6. I'm pasting it in the chat so you guys can figure out
It
what
is
you're
a big
looking
one
at.
in the upper left with a cluster
It is
on
a
the
big
lower
one in the
right.
upper left and 5 smaller ones in the bottom right and an offset diagonal lines.
I don't feel bad because it wasn't 4. Like if y'all had said 4 and we got it wrong because it was 4, I would have felt awful.
Yeah, I just wasn't seeing those extra 2 on the far right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's the end of the 5th round, and this has been a huge swing in the score here. What was formerly thought to be an insurmountable lead has been surmounted going into round 6. Andrew and Paul have 142. Nick and Josh were skunked in round 5. 142 to 126. Yes, you said Seattle, Mandano, and 5.
Manzana.
Close. I think you changed it to the Italian version of the word.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so 142 to 126 going into round 6. And round 6 is going to be the Clint Givens round. Thank you to Clint Givens for all 3 of these excellent questions.
Thanks, Clint.
First up, category is Royals.
Royal.
There you go. What unofficial nickname for the British royal family is also the title of a novel that spent 47 weeks on the New York Times bestseller list?
Yeah, you want to go with that? Yeah, let's lock in.
Cool.
All right, Paul and Andrew have just locked in. Nick and Josh, talk us through your logic.
Sarah is a huge Anglophile and has watched everything related to the British royal family and the weddings and has read all of Meghan Markle's book. The disconnect that I have between the question and my thought process is that it's asking for the unofficial nickname for the British royal family. The first thing that popped into my head was in Meghan Markle's book, she refers consistently, and I've heard this term over and over and over again, for while it's not a nickname for the British royal family, there's sort of this like shadow organization that runs everything for the British royal family, like the bureaucrats behind the scene that now have all the actual power. They refer to them as the firm. And the firm, while not being the British royal family, is associated with the British royal family. And The Firm is a Grisham novel that spent a ton of time on the New York Times bestseller list. That's the best thing that I've got, but it doesn't fit the question because it's not a nickname for the royal family as far as I know.
Yeah, the other thing I thought of while you were going through that was The Crown, but I can't put that with a book. And my sense is that this is going to be a novel that we've very much heard of, which fits your original logic with The Firm.
Right. I'm having a hard time getting away from the idea that The Firm is an entirely different organization than the British royal family.
Yeah, I don't have enough royal knowledge to be able to pull that. I guess are we referring? Well, it doesn't say in the question whether we're referring to like this British royal family or kind of the royals generally going back for as long as they go back. But that doesn't. Right. I don't know if that helps me, even if we could figure that out.
Right. Yeah. Like the whole. I think Sarah was watching a whole thing on The Firm specifically, and it's literally like the bureaucrats became the power behind the throne. Like as the royal family became more and more symbolic, the bureaucrats that like set the schedules and dictated the protocol and decided that like
you guys have 30 seconds left.
Yeah, Nick, you have an answer and I don't, so given that, I'm happy to go with what you have.
Okay, we'll lock in with The Firm.
Andrew and Paul, tell me what you were thinking.
Well, we didn't have a lot. We were going through like names like the Tudors and the Windsors and Blue Bloods, things like that. And we just settled on The Crown. Yeah, I didn't actually think about it, that it's implying that it's the title of a wholly unrelated novel. I didn't get that part. Yeah. So I like The Firm. That sounds pretty good. But we went with The Crown.
All right. So it's The Crown versus The Firm. The nickname, alluding to the royals' business interests and PR consciousness, is thought to originate from a quote from George VI, repeated in the movie The King's Speech.
Beep, beep.
That is not his quote. His quote was not beep, beep. It was the beeping that was making me angry.
And that's why they left the Catholic Church.
Repeated in the movie The King's Speech, quote, "We are not a family, we're a firm." The answer is The Firm.
Yep.
Really
I
good
knew
job.
that term was associated with the British royal family, but I don't, like I said, I thought it refers to the sort of the shadow organization surrounding them.
Yeah, that is the right answer. Good job. That was a big get, too, because we got 2 more questions in the main game here, and there's only 6 points separating the 2 teams. Andrew and Paul have a 6-point lead.
Yep.
Going into question 2 with a category of geography.
All credit there to Sarah Kaplan.
If you start with the capital of Botswana and remove the letters O, R, and E, the remaining 5 letters spell out the name of another African country. A former French colony bordered by Equatorial Guinea, Cameroon, Republic of the Congo, and the Atlantic Ocean. What is the name of that country? And I will say that it is, you don't have to rearrange the letters. So I am going to paste that for you.
Yeah, that part's not going to help. At least not me.
There you go. I really love this question, Clint. And I do want to say, just to be specific with it, if you were to write out a long name, you're not removing all instances of these letters. You're removing one instance of each of these letters, O, R, and E.
Oh, okay. You remove N-O, N-R, and E.
Yes. I want to be very clear about that.
You want to lock in, Andrew?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Paul and Andrew have locked in. Nick and Josh, you can work this out loud.
Nick and Josh has not typed anything yet, as is evidenced by the hands on the back of my head for the entire time since the question was asked.
I started drawing a crude map of Africa.
Sure.
Well, we know it's a 5-letter country.
Okay. Why? Oh, 5 letters. The remaining 5 letters. Okay. Yeah, that's valid.
That narrows it down.
Yeah.
And we know it's on the west coast of Africa because it borders the Atlantic Ocean. I'm just trying to remember what all is over there.
Right. Okay. So Republic of the Congo is different from the Democratic Republic of the Congo, but they do border each other.
Yes.
So Democratic Republic of the Congo is the huge, big, giant one in the dead center.
Yeah.
And the Republic of the Congo is to the Atlantic side to the west.
It's got to be the west.
So we're talking about, this is going to sound awful, but like the armpit of Africa, right? Where it comes.
The horn. No, the horn is on the other side.
I thought the horn was the bottom. Or no, the horn is Somalia.
We're talking about this. It's the Gold Coast, I think.
Yes, the Gold Coast. Okay, so 5-letter African countries.
Also known as the armpit of Africa, apparently.
Yeah. Right. So 5-letter countries in Africa that are in that general vicinity would be like Ghana.
Yeah.
Or Benin or
Guinea-Bissau, Cote d'Ivoire, Senegal. I'm just trying to go through like West Africa.
Gambia is 6.
And obviously neither of us know the capital of Botswana because that would just be...
That would make it a lot easier, yeah.
I have Ghana and Benin as our options.
Best options.
But we may be forgetting.
But those are north, not...
Yeah,
like it's on the downside toward the middle. And the Ghana, Togo, Benin, are
unless Republic of Congo goes further north than we think. But
maybe Sudan,
Central African Republic, Sudan. No, that's too far east.
1 minute left.
Chad, we're gonna take all of that minute.
Yeah,
we're gonna get there.
Niger?
No, too far north and landlocked. Zambia. Guinea-Bissau or Gambia or Gabon.
Gaborone. Yeah, that's the capital.
Yeah. 10 seconds left.
Gaborone is the capital. That's you take away E. Gabon. Locked in.
All right. They are locking it with Gabon or Gabon. Andrew and Paul, what were you guys thinking?
I've actually been trying to study African geography more because of Trivial Warfare, and I'm horrible at it at Learned League 2. And I knew that Gaborone was the capital and got this almost right away.
So you also said Gabon. If you take an O, an R, and an E out of Gaborone, you end up with Gabon. That is the correct answer, and Nick and Josh got it with literally 10 seconds to spare.
I feel so good about that one. That's my one poll from the day that I feel so good about.
Yeah, that was amazing to watch, y'all. That was super fun. I'm sure it wasn't great for Andrew and Paul.
I was like 9, 8, 7.
Oh my God, that was amazing. And I really, really loved that question. There's a lot of meat in there. And if you have good knowledge, like Andrew had knowledge, like, oh, that's kind of easy. Right. But you can still get so good.
Well, there's like 55 countries in Africa. I want to say that Josh and I named 40 of them at least.
No, you just named the same ones like 20 times. Yes.
I'm going to go back and count when this episode
I heard you say Gambia at least 4 times. My favorite was when you said it, either that one or Zambia, with like Gambia the second or third time, and John's like, that has 6 letters. All right, round 6, question 6. This is going to determine who has a lead going into the gauntlet. Your category is movies. Clint Gibbons' movies question. This 1973 adventure drama, starring Steve McQueen and Dustin Hoffman, is based on a semi-autobiographical novel by French safecracker Henri Charrière, who manages to escape from the infamous Devil's Island penal colony in French Guyana. The 2017 remake stars Charlie Hunnam and Rami Malek. What is the shared title of these works? A French word, which was Charrière's nickname, based on a lepidopteran chest tattoo. I will paste, and I will repeat for the listeners.
Believe that, said Andrew.
This 1973 adventure drama starring Steve McQueen and Dustin Hoffman is based on a semi-autobiographical novel by French safecracker Henri Charrière, who manages to escape from the infamous Devil's Island penal colony in French Guyana. The 2017 remake stars Charlie Hunnam and Rami Malek, what is the shared title of these works, a French word, which was Charrière's nickname based on a lepidopteran chest tattoo.
Yeah.
You good with that one?
Yeah.
Okay, now we're locking in.
Yeah.
All right, Paul and Andrew have locked in. Josh and Nick, you can talk it out.
All right, Josh, what do you got?
I think you're on the right track, actually. So with the lepidopteran stuff.
Lepidopteran is butterfly. Butterfly in French is papillon. That's what I got.
And for some reason that rings in a bell as like that was some movie that I don't think did very well, but definitely exists. And certainly could be a 1973 movie. I've probably looked at like the Steve McQueen and Dustin Hoffman filmographies enough, but not enough for this to stick. But I mean, I'm not going to come up with anything better. So,
did the recent one you're thinking of star Rami Malek?
I honestly do not know. I think I'm aware that I'm aware of it. I think as a title only, and I could possibly be making this up.
Right. So lepidopteran is the word you use in a trivia question to clue somebody into the answer being butterfly without using the word butterfly. Yeah. And if it's a French butterfly, that's papillon. If you can think of maybe a movie in the back of your head that has that name, I think that's as close as we're going to get.
All right.
So we'll lock in with papillon.
All right. Nick and Josh have locked in with papillon. Paul and Andrew, what were you thinking?
Yeah, we were thinking the same thing. I just my bad French spelling was getting in the way there.
I actually remember the movie poster.
Yeah, I think I
had more letters.
Years ago, I'm pretty sure I saw the old one with McQueen. Yeah, Papillon.
So it was funny because when Paul asked if he wanted to lock in, it was Papion, which pronounces papillon.
Right.
And Andrew's like, no, I think there's more syllables. And at that point, he spelled out Papillon, which also pronounces as papillon. The correct answer is papillon.
All right.
Both teams got it right. Great job. Going into the gauntlet, it is a 6-point game. Andrew and Paul have 162. Josh and Nick have 156. 162 to 156. And your gauntlet category is It's Christmas Time.
True.
Yes.
We have ours circled.
All right. Are you saying Paul and Andrew, you've locked in your wager? Yes, you do.
Oh, yeah.
All right, beautiful.
If that's what you want, Josh, it's your guest appearance. I'm always on the show.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right, the wagers are locked in. You're going to have 3 questions around a common theme. Your theme is It's Christmas Time, and you've already locked in your wager, so here's question 1. Cupid, often portrayed as the child of Venus and Mars, was the Roman god of desire, attraction, and affection. What is the name of his less cherubic Greek counterpart?
Pretty sure that. Lock that in.
All right. Paul and Andrew have locked in. Josh and Nick.
Yeah, I'm 100% on that. We can lock in.
All right. Both teams have locked in. We're going to question 2. From 1997 to 2008, what city was home to the WNBA Comets? The team won the first 4 championships in league history, cementing themselves as the greatest WNBA team of all time.
We're locked in.
I misspelled it there. But
I got the...
Nick and Josh, did you lock in?
Yes.
We're locked in.
We're going to question 3 in the gauntlet. The 1935 film The Little Colonel featured Bill Bojangles Robinson dancing with what star in a scene that is viewed as the first interracial dance in American film history? And shout out to Dan Babuska for inspiring this question.
100% on that.
Your spelling is correct.
Oh, yep.
Yep. We're also locked in.
I was 100% on that as well, but my thumbs were not.
Both teams have locked in all 3 answers. I'm going to collect their answers first off. Cupid, often portrayed as a child of Venus and Mars. What is the name of his less cherubic Greek counterpart? Nick and Josh, what was your answer?
Our answer was Eros. Greek gods is one of my wheelhouse things. Something I've learned at a young age and kept up with as an adult.
Well, it's easy to keep up when it doesn't change.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Well, no, I've added to my knowledge the breadth and depth.
Fair enough. That is something we have in common, by the way. I was really interested in Greek gods and goddesses when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. Paul and Andrew, what did you say?
We also had Eros.
All right. Both teams said Eros. Question 2. I asked you who was the home of, or what city was the home of the WNBA Comets, the greatest WNBA team of all time. Andrew and Paul, what were you thinking?
Well, I wrote Houston down, Houston with an I, but Houston, 100% on that.
You guys said Houston. Nick and Josh, what did you say?
Yeah, they wrote down Houston.
Yeah,
Wish we could help you out with your change of answer, but you locked in.
Yeah, kind of a takeoff on the Rockets, the Comets. We also said Houston.
Oh, both teams said Houston. And third question, the 1935 film The Little Colonel featured Bill Bojangles Robinson dancing with what star? Nick and Josh, what did you say?
We both said Shirley Temple.
Shirley Temple. Andrew and Paul, what did you say?
It wasn't what I typed, Shirley Femple, but Paul typed Shirley Temple, which was the correct answer for us.
All right. So both teams agreed on all three answers. They all had...
No, we said Houston for the second.
Yes, that is correct.
Not an agreement.
Like I said, both teams gave the same answers for each of the questions. Your correct answers in order were Eros, Houston, and Temple. Both teams got the gauntlet correct, and I'm assuming everybody caught on to the fact that these were all questions involving the name of reindeer. It's going to come down to wagers. Let's hear from Josh and Nick first. Josh and Nick, what did you wager?
I was not feeling super great going into the gauntlet after that second half. Wanted to just bet to cover, make them get it right, so we bet 7.
That's a bet of 7, which puts you at 163 with a 1-point lead. If Andrew and Paul bet 0, you will win the game.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great night. We'll see you later.
Andrew,
it's been a pleasure having you on the show. Paul, you did a great job today. Just wasn't enough. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Trivial Warfare. We'll see you next time.
Andrew and Paul, what did you wager?
We actually went for the lockout and bet 151.
151. Your final score, Andrew and Paul have won the game 313 to 163. Good job.
Great job.
Strong performance. You know what? What was it? That last round, the Crown versus the Firm. I thought we were going to get up at that. There were such difference-making questions. I think the big turning point was round 5.
Was getting housed in round 5. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the big difference right there. Huge.
The fifth quarter's ours.
Yeah.
Good job. All right. Well, before we go, we like to give everybody a chance to do shout-outs and promote causes that they care about. Paul and Andrew, you guys won, so we're going to start with you. Paul, take the floor.
Oh, I guess I'll shout out my parents. They're both been through a lot over the last year, and I just want to say I love them.
That's fantastic. What are their names?
Paul and Claudie.
Paul and Claudie. Well, shout out to you guys. And thank you for letting Paul play with us today. All right, Andrew, over to you.
I would like to thank my wife, who I think this is the first time I haven't mentioned her while being on this podcast. So there's that. But I also, one thing that helps her deal with me is the fact that I can go downstairs and watch Mystery Science Theater 3000. They're in the current, looking at crowdsourcing their current 14th season. They crowdsourced last year for 13, and they're running short. So if you like Mystery Science Theater or just making fun of horrible movies, please give them some money. It's a lot of fun. I put the link in the chat.
That's a long link.
Yeah.
We have to read it out loud for people.
I'll put it on the Trivial Warfare page.
Put it on the comment page for this episode.
Yeah, and you can put it on the comments for the picture that I posted earlier.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, my mug from the Kickstarter from the first time they came back is over in the other room.
Outstanding. Oh, we have a couple of MST3K fans on the show today.
Yeah.
All right, Josh, we're going to finish up with you.
Yeah, first of all, shout out to my girlfriend, Helene, who's actually out at a baby shower, so had the opportunity to spend a few hours with you all taping this podcast. Thanks to the community in general. You know, Jonathan, ever since the first time I met you, it's been lovely, and getting to meet all of these lovely people. It's been great. And also, you know, my online Quiz League teammates, they know who they are, and they've helped me get a lot better at this. The last thing I kind of mentioned at the opening that I do acquire the Alexandria Choral Society. You know, there's 54 million Americans in choruses. You probably know somebody. So I've heard, you know, other folks on the show say, go out, support the arts, go out, find your local community choir. It's not just old dead white guys. There's a lot of interesting music happening. So I would encourage you to go find them and go support them. And if you're interested in it, go try out.
I love that. Love it, love it, love it. Thank you very much. That is going to wrap us up. So for Andrew, for Josh, for Paul, and for Nick, my name's Jonathan, and this has been episode number 458 of Trivial Warfare, where it's not just trivia, it's war. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Trivial Warfare. Be sure to check out the revamped TrivialWarfare.com as your one-stop shop to submit questions, Join the community and get access to over 150 archived episodes. Warm It Up was written and performed by Matthew Stevens. This episode was edited and produced by me, Joel Sharpton. For help with your podcast, visit propodcastingservices.com.
You guys really did well, by the way. This was a harder than average set, and you had higher than average scores.
Yeah, that was especially the 5th round.
Andrew, you pulled a bunch that
those
I would never have had.
Straight out of nowhere.
Right.
You know,
there were a lot of Jonathans today.
You pulled them out of the armpit of Africa.
Josh and Nick haven't seen a right answer since the midpoint. They are at 126. That's not true. Haven't seen a right answer. Let me add that. Just throw that out right now.
I mean, I'm okay if you want to rescore it.
Nick and Josh have not, or Jonathan, please say it better.
You know what? Let's just pick this up tomorrow.
All three teams, Jesus Christ.
Sorry, it's only episode 1 to 460.
One what? One what was it?
460.
Jonathan,
in the title
in
of
your
the
head
chat.
don't count.
All right. Nope, that's not. You don't say all for
teams.
2. Both.
All teams are locked in.
Right.
All teams are locked in. That is a fair statement.
And my name is Jonathan.
Is it John?
No, clearly not. It grates like nails on a chalkboard.
I understand that. I have a shortening of my name that does the same for me.
Johnny and Andy and Pa.
I've never had
Good old
that problem.
Paul Dwyer. That was his grandpa.